All right, so some of you wanted to see and hear a comparison of the SPL DES hardware, the 500 series DS hardware, against the plugin, the SPL Dual Band Deesser plugin. Let's do this.
From the mind of Mark Yoshimoto Nemkov.
All right, so what I've done is I've downloaded the demo of the SPL Dual Band Deesser plugin, and I've matched the settings to the hardware. So you're listening to me right now through the hardware. I'm going through the 416 into, let me just show you the rig real quick, so the Elysia Sculptor into the SPL DeS. There's nothing else on the chain. Let me go back to the shot here. Oh, so let me pull that up. There we go. So the Dual Band Deesser, right? I am guessing it should work the same way as the hardware, right? So that's the expectation. But what is the reality? So let's do this. Let's get this out of the way. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to record something with the hardware on. And then I'm going to record it again with the hardware off. And then we're going to put the plugin on that unprocessed section and see if it matches. All right, very simple. All right, here we go. 77 salesmen sought success singing silly songs so softly. 77 salesmen sought success singing silly songs so softly. Okay, ooh, God, that is a lot of sibilants. You turn that back on. All right, so let's put these together. Let's take a look at these waveforms. So, I mean, they look pretty much like identical, right? Put a marker in there. So this and that, right? They look pretty good, except like you can see that here, the onset of that sibilant S, right, in the 77, that is a lot more prominent here in the waveform than it is over here. So let's see what this sounds like back to back. Okay, so this is with no effect on it. Again, the first part over here, the first part is with the hardware, and this is without the hardware. So let's do this. So here we go. 77 salesmen sought success singing silly songs so softly. 77 salesmen sought success singing silly songs so softly. Ooh, okay. So here, let's actually do this. Let's make a copy of that. And then we're going to put, okay, hold on. So what we have here is, let me mark this as master untreated. Okay, and this is going to be plugin. All right, so what we have here, right, this and that are the same read. So we're going to affect this part going through the plugin. So let's listen to what it sounds like. Take that off bypass. Let's listen to what it sounds like first. 77 salesmen sought success singing silly songs so softly. Not bad. That's what happens when we process it. Oh, look at that. So I just downloaded this, the demo. But look at that. Look at what it did. Look at in comparison. Look at how it compressed the whole thing. Wow, that's really interesting. Hold on, that is weird. Okay, so let's listen to this, the first two. Let's listen to the hardware and the plugin back to back. 77 salesmen sought success singing silly songs so softly. 77 salesmen sought success singing silly songs so softly. Wow, okay, there is definitely something a little bit more grainy in this. 77 salesmen sought success. 77 salesmen sought success singing. Okay, I mean, you know, it's close. 77 salesmen sought success singing silly songs so softly. 77 salesmen sought success singing silly songs so softly. Yeah, there's some 7 salesmen sought success. Yeah, there's definitely a little bit of a change. It's a small change. Here we go. So let's listen to that, the plugin versus the unprocessed. 77 salesmen sought success singing silly songs so softly. 77 salesmen sought success singing silly songs so softly. Again, I'm a little concerned. Why did it compress it so much? When basically running it through the hardware didn't give it so much compression, didn't give it any compression, right? Against when you look at the hardware version versus the bypass version, they look identical, but that looks squashed. And you can, it's probably going to be very difficult to hear it through YouTube, but it's the kind of thing again where it's really, sometimes you have to think like, yeah, this is what people are going to hear, the end result, the end listener is going to hear. But it's also about what the client is going to hear when they listen to your raw track. Now, I mean, look, that's probably good enough for most people. 77 salesmen sought success singing silly songs so softly. 77 salesmen sought success singing silly songs so softly. Wow, okay. So hold on. I want to do something different here too. Let me, hold on. Let me make another copy of the master. And let's bring that plug-in in again. I want to try something different. Here we go. Okay, so here we go. 77 salesmen sought success singing silly songs so softly. 77 salesmen sought success singing silly songs so softly. The default setting is for the male, low S reduction frequency centering, which is 6.something K, 6.4 K, I believe. And the female raises that to 7.6 K. Let me see if that makes a difference here. Hold on. Okay. Again, that does compress it. Let's listen to these back to back. Which one do we like better? 77 salesmen sought success singing silly songs so softly. 77 salesmen sought success singing silly songs so softly. I don't know, the female one sounds a little bit better. I mean, we're talking like really granular differences here. So overall, right, this is interesting. I'm curious why this got compressed as much as it did. Overall. Here, hold on. You know what I want to do? I got an idea. I want to try something here real quick. Let me save this. All right. de-ess. All right. Hold on. I'm going to bring something else into the equation here. All right. So this is Acoustica. Hold on. Oops, man. Again, no pre-production. Let's bring this in so you can see this whole thing. Let me drag this. Okay. So what we have here, I wanted to do this because I wanted to show you. Let's go with a heat graph here. Okay, so what we have here, right? So you can see here, right, the master untreated. You can see how much more these S's reach up to the sky than over here, especially here, right? This first one, 77. So 77 salesmen sought success singing. All right, so there's that. 77. All right. 77. So, and here, I'm looking at this. I'm trying to see if there's anything here that I see that, you know what, here, look at this. This is actually really weird. Look at this. So right here, right? Look at this right here between 2K and 4K, right here, as opposed to right here. This is what I'm hearing. So right here, right? Oh, okay, here we go. But yeah, you know what? Look at that. There is silly songs so softly. Singing silly songs so softly. Yeah, there is like something that it did between 2 and 4 here that is not happening here. That's exactly what I'm hearing. That is really weird. I mean, you can see that it's taking the heat off of these S's, right? So, but yeah, it's doing something right in the presence area, which, I mean, you know, the presence area does have a little bit of importance when it comes to voiceover. But yeah, that's what I'm hearing. So look at that. That is interesting. So, wow. Okay. So all right. So overall, I think that the plugin, the SPL plugin, is effective. But it definitely sounds different than hardware. And it sounds different enough that I can hear a difference here at the source. And again, you know, if you're doing a podcast, if you're doing something where it's just you releasing something to the audience, there's a great deal of difference between when there's a middle person who is either judging your audition or judging a client or producer who is judging your submission of your work, And, that's why it's hard to do these demonstrations on YouTube, because sometimes you miss these little granular details that I feel are very important, because I think that there's no detail too small to be improved in your chain, in your work, whatever. So overall, I mean, look, that's probably close enough for most people, but honestly, that's a big difference right there. So let's get rid of this. Let's go back to that. So what did we learn here today? We learned that the plugin is pretty decent and it's dirt cheap. I think it's like $30. But again, this goes to something that I feel like I've been hearing a lot using my plugins, and is that there's a plug-in-y sound that is different from analog that you can match. And, whether it is this, right, in the incidence of this plugin, whether it is something happening between 2 and 4, okay, and there may be more going on, but I haven't really, we're just taking a quick look right now. But there's a plug-in sound that, to me, I'm just starting to hear more and more as I use plugins. So, hey, look, if it works for you, use it. If it's working for you, keep using it. There's no reason to upgrade your gear as long as you're getting the results that you're looking for. All right. So I'm really happy that there were a couple of people who suggested this. And if I had been prepared, I would be able to tell you who they were. But I'm very grateful to those of you who did. And I enjoyed doing this experiment. And, hey, as long as the de-esser works, that's all that matters to me. But let me know what you think, all right? Until next time, this is Mark Yoshimoto Nemkov, fading to black.